She is completely unexplainable. You think she's a good girl, but once you get to know her, you realize she's everything. She's crazy, she's funny, she's honest, and you'll never know what she'll do next.
Hey, so happy you could come and check out the podcast today. I want to draw attention to the fact that my Being Tracy page on Facebook is temporarily being hacked. But stick with me because I've been through this before. I've got the YouTube video to prove it. That's called How to Get Your Hacked Instagram and Facebook Page Back. I watched it. I'm in touch with Meta, and we're going to get that back as soon as possible, maybe even by the time you're watching this. Anyway, this is the famous Wally Waiters here. I met Wally recently because he was a referral. Someone I've been, asking my friends, who do you know that's famous that I can interview? Who do you know that's done a lot of things, achieved a lot of things, helped a lot of people? And then I met Wally.
And here we are today.
Here we are. Wally, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? What makes you famous?
Okay, when you say famous, I'm more infamous than famous if you really want to know the truth, but I've done a lot of things.
Now, why would you say that?
I said because I'm the type of guy I'd like to shock people and knock them off balance, not give them exactly what they want to hear, but tell them what they need to hear.
Okay.
So, okay, I guess you can say I'm famous. So how far back do you want to go, Tracy?
Let's go back to the beginning, but like Cliff Notes. Just give us Cliff Notes.
Okay, so basically, it started when I was about 15 years old. I used to play football, very active in college, in high school and everything, and my mom came to me and she asked me, so, boy, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like thinking, I'm 15 years old. I want to party and play football and have fun. She said, no, what do you want to do with your life? And there was a couple of different things that really piqued me. Number one, I could have been a preacher. I have a whole lineage of pastors and preachers in my family. I could have been a doctor, a lawyer, a speaker, but I told her I want to be involved in television, and that's where it all started. So the story goes on. I always believe that you can cast your vision, and if you don't give up, it's going to happen for you. So 5 years later, I'm on television. I'm a radio DJ at Rock 104 in Gainesville, Go Gators, and I also started getting involved in television. And I would audition. I became the 12 noon sports anchor. I was a news reporter. And of course, that was a great career, made me very popular. I didn't realize I was broadcast to 20 million people. Imagine a 21-year-old kid. And all of a sudden, they're telling me, oh, our school class watches and this and that. So I'm like, this is crazy. So maybe a little bit nervous. So I learned a long time ago, don't think about the people who are watching. Look at the producer right in front of you. So I did that. After school, I took a little stint away from television because of the recession, and I couldn't find a job. And I realized you could make more money behind the scenes. So started working with a couple of different people, Today's Environment, Ed Begley Jr., worked with a few other folks. And then I said, it's time to launch my own, cast my net out, as it were. And I started a series called the Profile Series, hosted by the Academy Award-winning actor Louis Gossett Jr. It was a big hit. And it blew up. And then I moved on from there and started, Larry King ended his contract with CNN. And that was a big coup. And I was able to get Larry King to host my show, one of the most prolific people in television history.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that's the beginning.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, go on.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on pins and needles.
All right,
I know
so
there's more to the story.
There's more to the story. So I get involved with Larry King, and the show blew up, won multiple awards, Telly Awards for our industry, and many other things. And then, of course, my biggest dream and passion is to become a speaker. I've always loved to speak to people. Been doing it since about the age of 15.
And you're so good at it. You're
Thank
so
you.
good at it.
She's so kind. Look at this. Thank you very much. I received that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
in the limited time I've known you, you've proven yourself.
Well.
That's why I have you one of my first guests on here. I know
Oh,
that
she's so sweet. Thank you
you've
for
got a
having
way.
me.
Yeah,
I
you've got a way
appreciate
about
having me
you.
as a guest.
Yeah.
So I was speaking since 15. I wanted to do that. That was my passion coming up. So I started speaking, but the first group I dealt with were my employees. First of the month, every month, I would create a monthly message to inspire them and to get them going. And I would come up with topics and get them like downloads. I didn't have to think much. It just came to me. And I realized that if I can have input on these 30, 40, 50 people, they can go out and change the world. And so that was the main focus of me. It's just really encouraging and inspiring people. And those of you know me, I had someone once tell me, why are you always positive? They don't understand. I don't wake up positive. it's a process to make sure you maintain a good mentality.
And we resonated right away when I checked out your Facebook page because right there it says gratitude.
Gratitude.
And that's what I'm all about.
Yes.
And I teach my daughters, you be grateful, you're going to have more to be grateful for. Right?
Absolutely. I'll get into the science behind that later. There's a science behind gratitude.
I want to hear it.
But so did that, and then of course went through the trials and tribulations of life. I had to shut down my business, and I found myself being a personal consultant, host, and did some other things. And I ended up at Brandstar Studios right down the street from here, and took over the local division. Then I started the competitive edge with Montel Williams, and here we are today with Tracy. So that's a quick.
I
short
love it. I
version.
love it. You clicked it. I know that was hard to click it into
I'm
that
a-
much.
I'm a sound-
Because
I'm
we
a
had like a
soundbite pro.
2-hour meeting, our first meeting,
Yes,
just
we
going
did.
on and on between each other, what we had in common, likenesses, and our mindsets, and what you've done. And
Exactly.
I so enjoyed hearing it. Now I want to know just right now in your life. So what do you enjoy doing? How have you enjoyed helping people?
To me, it's always been about other people. You know, there's a guy who had a quote years ago. His name is Zig Ziglar. Most of you kids don't probably know him, but he said something. He said, "How do you get what you want?" He said, "By helping other
Yes.
people get what they
Exactly.
want." So I realized a long time ago that it's not all about me, even though it's all about me. But it's not. It's about other people. It's about
Right.
serving. It's about
That's
helping other
exactly true.
people. So I started doing this years ago and just really encouraging people to have a better life, to pursue their goals and dreams. And that's one of the things I grew up in. I tell people all the time, my parents were those people. Barbara and Sterling Waiters, may they enjoy heaven. And I have to tell you, they always brought me up, letting me know I can be whoever I wanted to be, do whatever I wanted to do, and have the good things that I wanted to have in life. And so I had that. And I thought everyone had that, but they didn't. I was like, how blessed I am.
Right.
People were arguing with their parents. There were people told me their parents told them they're worthless and worth nothing. I want to tell you, if you're one of those people out there right now, you are worthy. You are blessed. And you can do whatever you want to do. And I don't know, I just feel, I get these inclinations sometimes that someone out there needs to hear this.
Yeah.
So if you need to hear this right now, I want to let you know you are worthy and you're blessed. You are not a mistake because God doesn't make mistakes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I started to really pursue my speaking career. And I've spoken at international conferences. I spoke in Ecuador at a TED Talk and at the University of Ecuador. I've been on stages in front of doctors and lawyers and different types of things. And I was very involved in the church down here, Calvary Chapel. I taught Bible college, adult education classes, led the prayer ministry. So for me, I'm always that guy who wants to encourage and inspire people. You know, there's a scripture that says, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have been given a lot of gifts, I don't know if you're sitting on yours, whether you buried your talents and abilities, you're saying, Wally, I should be on that show like Tracy is. Well, guess what? You can do it. But just stay focused. Use what you've been given. We all have certain gifts. And I'm all about purpose, Tracy. Everyone has a purpose out there, and they need to figure out what that is. So I spoke at the Global Vision Conference 8 times with Johnny Regan. And right now I'm in a very interesting position because I really want to pursue my speaking and coaching career and influence people. And I do that on Facebook. It started years ago. I started writing quotes, and then I started doing these 1-minute videos. Next thing you know, they're all over the place. And
Right.
for a lot of people watch them, but a lot of people don't comment. You don't need to comment, but as long as you get the message. And so I find myself, when I wake up in the morning, I'm passionate about purpose and helping other people be, do, and have the good that they
I
desire
love
in
it.
life.
That's amazing. Now tell me, what is your vision then right now?
My vision for the future. First of all, my vision is really to do this. If you want to get deep, I can, but I'll keep it short. My vision is to really impact the world in a positive way. Look at all the bleep that's happening all around our world. There's so much confusion.
agree.
Mental health is a big issue. And I feel sorry for the younger generation out there because we didn't have to deal with this stuff. It was black and white. But there's so many different things happening right now. And I'm not to get political, I'm just real. My kids, I have to teach them certain things that we didn't have to teach years ago.
Right.
And with the climate happening right now, it's causing so much mental health issues. So what I want to tell people is that my vision is to help people get out of that stigma, help them through their mental issue, and really help them to find their purpose and passion in life. And how I see myself doing that is doing podcasts like this, but also creating and becoming a nationally known and internationally known speaker. It's my gift. Of course, I still like to produce TVs. That's my passion, is producing shows. But I find that when I can help other people doors open up for you. And I want to talk about this other thing, it's gratitude. I believe that gratitude is the key. I says on my Facebook page, you can look up WallyWaiters.com, Wally Waiters on Facebook. And I believe that gratitude opens doors. And I always believe in giving thanks. And the thing about you don't understand, whenever you're training your kids, what do we teach them? Those of you have kids out there. We tell them to say please and
Thank you.
and it becomes almost automatic. Say please and thank you. And next thing you know, you're saying thank you. And it's interesting because a lot of times it diminishes the meaning of it.
Well, you have to think of, what am I thankful for? You have to, it makes you think of it.
But I'm just
makes
talking
you
about the
recognize
basics
it.
of just thank you because it becomes an automatic response. I'll tell you, I was calling a participant of my show one day and had a conversation. She said, love you, bye. And I'm like thinking, that was conditioned. She doesn't know me. She doesn't really love me.
Right.
She probably was so conditioned to saying it to her husband and her children. She just said that. So what I tell people, you have to sit back and think about gratitude. Gratitude is an elevated emotion. It's not just a word. And when you say thank you for things, you have to feel it in your heart.
Yes. Right.
Otherwise, it becomes a canned, routine, rote thing that we just automatically program into our subconscious. And you don't even hear your mom saying, say please and thank you, but that's exactly what's happening. You're saying thank you and don't know why. So I've been studying gratitude. I believe in giving gratitude every day. But when I discovered there was a science behind it, that by giving gratitude, it closes a transaction, whether it's past, present, or future. You can be thankful for things that didn't even happen yet.
Yeah.
Like for me, before I came here, I gave gratitude for everybody. I blessed everyone in the studio because I wanted to prepare the way and make sure the energy was good in here. So recent studies have shown that by a person just giving thanks 2 to 3 times a day over a 4-day span, it will increase their immunoglobulin A by 50%. If you don't know what that is, it means your immune system. You can make your immune system 50% stronger just by giving thanks. Now, if that's not enough reason to give thanks, that I don't know what else is. So I believe that by giving thanks for things past, things present, things future, it opens doors for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful for this interview right now, grateful for Tracy and meeting her. And I think this is a fabulous thing that's happening right here.
Right. Well, now tell me, you sound so grateful. I can't even imagine what kind of adversity you've ever been through. Have you ever been through any adversity in your life?
Absolutely. Adversity is a part of life.
Everybody goes through it,
Oh,
right?
listen, I've been through a lot of adversity. I tell people all the time, my whole life has been spent going through trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations are part of life. And I like a quote that I got from a preacher years ago. He said, life is 90% what happens to you and 10% how you respond to it. It's perspective. Oh, I've been through trials and tribulations on my journey because life is a journey and not a destination.
Right.
But most recently, I went through a divorce 5-6 years ago. Lost everything. And I found myself, what the heck is going on here after I built all this up? And I thought about this poem that I learned in 5th grade called If. And if you want to look it up, If by Rudyard Kipling, it almost mirrored my life. And I was like, this is crazy. So been through a lot of trials and tribulations. They're a part of everyday life. And I believe in the word it says, in this world you will have tribulation. Not like maybe, you will have tribulation. And so I've had a lot of tribulation. I lost everything at one point, found myself down in the bottom of the barrel. I mean, when I say in the bottom of the barrel, I'm like, I didn't have a place to stay. I had to turn my car in. I'm couch surfing. I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here, God? Why am I going through these things?
And how did you deal with that?
I dealt with it like one of the things that, again, I go back to speakers. Zig Ziglar said, when I fall down, I want to fall flat on my back because if I can look up, I can get up. And I mean that. So I kept looking up. I kept going on. And one of my friends said, man, you're the most resilient person I've ever seen. And you can imagine going through these trials and tribulations. You go from a Tesla to riding a public bus or taking an Uber. I'm like thinking, this is crazy. And I just keep going and keep going and keep going. But it's all about my mindset.
Yeah.
Listen, we all go through trials and tribulations. I've done some crazy stuff for the past several years.
Right.
But I realize this is not the end. This is just a part of my journey. And one of the things I did a video on the other was talking about this. How easy is it to give thanks when there's a lot of money in the bank? The kids are acting right. All your personal relationships are great. It's easy to give thanks when those things are happening, right?
Yeah.
But what happens when the bleep hits the fan?
Right.
What happens there's no money? But what happens everyone's out of order? Can you give thanks then? And again, one of my favorite quotes from the scripture says, rejoice always. That means jump around and be happy.
Right.
pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all meaning all circumstances, for this is the will of God for you in Christ Jesus. And to me, that's my practice. Because if you believe everything is happening, how many people out there you can like, comment, or quote, believe that everything in your life happens for a reason?
I believe it.
You believe it? That's my point. If everything is working out for good and everything happens for a reason, give thanks always. It's not easy to do.
Well, listen, this reminds me, if you watched my first podcast, it was an introduction, and I got in the elevator, and I was going through all this shit in Miami, all this.
Oh, I can say
hell.
that. I can say that. Okay, good.
Yeah, I say it. But anyway,
Okay.
I got in there, and the lady, and I'm going through hell, and she looks at me and goes, well, you sure look happy. And I thought about it. I was like, wow, funny that's what she said to me. I look happy. And I got out of the elevator, and I looked back, and I said, well, that's because I choose to be happy.
It's a choice, 100%. I agree with you.
And that's what we have to do, right?
So that, again, I'm speaking to people out there right now, and you're probably saying, yeah, well, I get it. You could be happy, go lucky. Listen, I've been through some shit, dark stuff. When you realize you lose everything and everybody you thought was significant, when you go through trials and hit rock bottom, they turn their back on you. Look around, there's nobody there. I remember a time of brokenness. I can be honest and transparent about this. I was sitting there, and you guys believe it or not, I broke. I was in tears. And I was telling the girl that I was with and dating at the time, I have nobody. She said, yes, you do. Stop right there. I'm a slobbering fool. And I'm sitting there, and she says, you know what? You have people. Look at this one, this one, this. And I realized, but it wasn't the people that I was expecting to support me. And so I realized that I had a lot to be grateful for when I didn't. So still going through trials and tribulations, even this day, you guys. It's a part of life. And I try to do my best every single day to wake up,
Fantastic.
pray, do my meditation, and give thanks. It's a simple formula, even it sounds so different, but I just had to get my head off of my focus and start focus on things that I want to create in my life.
Yay, I love it. You have such a great message. I knew you would. Thank you,
Well,
Wally.
thank you.
Thank you so much for inspiring us. It's amazing.
I know.
Now I'm thinking, Ben, we're going to have a little jingle too for the blog, because I'm going to read the blog. I've got a funny story. I chose this one, my blog, because this blog that I wrote was all about my adventures, mainly in Miami. Okay, because I was in Miami.
Okay.
And this particular one, I was looking at which blog I'm going to read. I was thinking about like some businessman believed that I went out with, because I was thinking about something you would resonate with. But this was so funny. I have to share this one. It's called Don't Park in My Garage.
Okay.
Can you imagine why I wouldn't want a man to park in my garage?
Tell me.
Okay, well, I will. So, and then it starts. So,
Okay,
like I
Tracy.
said, I haven't had a real date in a while. By real date, I mean one where he picks me up, takes me to dinner and drinks, and pays, and ends up being a little
Whoa.
amorous. Well, I'd been listening to Attracting My True Love and also Attracting My Soulmate. Now, remember, this is like
Yes.
2 years ago or 1 year ago.
2 years ago, okay.
1 year ago, because it was right before I moved here. So it was 1 year ago. And so I'm still listening to those, but now I've switched over to the manifesting. I've figured it out. I'm manifesting this, okay? So on the third morning after listening to these videos, I got up and went to the kitchen, and there on my counter was my Mac computer with the birthday reminder from Michael. It wanted me to remind me to call Michael and wish him a happy birthday.
Right.
And I thought, I haven't gotten a birthday reminder in a long time. And I looked at it. I looked at the name and I didn't recognize it. But you know how I keep all these names in my phone with a picture, like we took when we first met, and notes and about what we talked
Good.
about.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah. And so I've got like almost 14,000 names in my phone. So I had to go back to my phone and look it up. And so I looked at the name, and then I saw the notes that I'd written, and I remembered him. I met him on South Beach, June 30th of 2018.
You had the date in there.
I had the date in there.
Oh, my gosh.
I had to reread it today
Little
to
OCD.
remember.
The date in the notes, you can still remember that far back. That's interesting.
No,
Yes.
well, who can remember? People are like, you've got the best memory. And it's all because I write it in my phone and I take pictures. But anyway, so I met him in South Beach, June 30th, 2019 at Monty's. Have you ever been there?
Of course. That's been around forever.
When a friend of mine, Scotty, introduced us. Hello, Scotty. and everybody that knows Scotty in South Beach. We ended up going out a couple of times, but I could sense that he had his mind on something else. And then I realized it was true. When we were in the car together, I remember traveling over the bridge to get back to South Beach, and his phone went
Venetian
off.
Causeway,
Yeah.
195,
It
395?
was MacArthur Causeway.
MacArthur, okay.
Causeway.
Gotcha.
Or, I barely left the island. I barely left the island when I lived in South Beach. 5 years I lived there without a car, and I barely left the island unless someone usually took me. So anyway, we're coming back over the island, and I remember his phone went off, and his car answered it, and it said, I could read on his dash, Elena, your true love is calling.
What?
I noted that, but I thought, wait, he said, oh, don't worry about it. That's just my cousin. And he didn't answer the call. But I thought that's a little bit, I noted that it was this true love, but I didn't really believe that was nothing. Right. So anyway, that ended up being our last date for, obvious reasons. And then when this birthday message came up, I was just in Coral Gables in real estate, so I was reaching out to people that had passed my path. I wasn't sure if we were going to do business together, make money together, date. I didn't know, but I was just like kind of reaching out to people when I got into real estate. So anyway, let me go back to where I am. Okay, so while I ended up giving him a call. Right. He still lived in Fort Lauderdale, had one daughter, lives on his boat, and is single now.
This is way too much information, you guys. Way too much information.
But this is all in my notes. Okay. It's all in my notes.
This is crazy. Okay, so
I'm not telling you his last name.
Okay. You don't have
Imagine how many Michaels there are with this. Anyway. Okay. 10 years older than me. He reminded me fondly. He remembered me fondly, he said, and wanted to drive to Miami to take me out on Friday. Afternoon traffic can be horrible, so thankfully there was no mention of where he was going to stay after his long visit and a few drinks.
No mention.
That
sounds
was
very strategic.
Yeah, me. Exactly. That's kind of what I thought. But I was like, he didn't ask me like anything, so whatever. All right. While I don't think it is wise for him to drive all the way back to Fort Lauderdale after a night full of drinking, I also thought he is a grown man and he knows the extent of his capability, and there would be absolutely no way he could spend the night with me. Okay. Michael called me a few times every day after the first birthday phone call, and seemed to be very enamored with me. He said that the problem before was that he was ending a relationship with this toxic girl, and it didn't end right away, he said.
Right.
Okay. So then Thursday night before our date Friday, I went out to dinner with a couple who are friends of mine. They took me to Cafe Violetto in Coral Gables, Miami, an awesome restaurant. I told my friend Eileen about the date the next night. I told her the whole story. I'm sitting there with this married couple. They've been married for years. And I told her that I thought maybe I'd choose a restaurant close by. I lived by the Miracle Mile. It was called Forte, that I can walk to. But then I told her when I said this, he said, oh, that'd be great. I can just park in your garage and we can walk together. At first I said, sure, that would be fine. And then I was thinking about it, I told Eileen. And I just was thinking, that's not a good sign, do you think? And she said, I didn't feel good about him parking in my garage. I mean, I hadn't even seen him in 3 years. And in the past, I feel that men have used this idea of parking in my garage as a way of getting into my building. And then they think it would be harder to, I would think it's harder to say goodbye to a guy in the garage.
Wait a second.
When I'm going up to my
Listen, this sounds very strategic here and how you came up with that, because parking is parking. I mean, these guys you're dealing with, first of all, where'd you meet this guy? I'm curious.
I met him years before on a dating app.
Okay, I was going to say, it's starting on a dating app. Okay, yeah, so let's precursor this.
My blog fed off my dates on the dating app.
It's a dating app. By the way, I think you have a book here. I think you have a book.
I have a book.
The Dating Escapades of Tracy.
Because I told Ben that
I feel like I'm sitting back like I'm in a romance novel or something, listening to this shit. I'm like, wow.
It gets better. It gets better.
This is like freaking amazing. My goodness, here. Keep going.
This is my last blog of a date that I wrote. Okay, so anyway, Eileen fervently agreed. She said she thought it was a privilege to park in my garage. Privilege. She said firmly after thinking about it, no, Tracy, don't let him park in your garage. Anyway, the Friday night came, and I had decided that I was no longer...
Is it a building or a house garage? Is it a big...
It's a building garage.
Oh, okay, so, I mean, where else are you going to park? Anyways, keep going. This is interesting.
You're going to park at the location where we meet. I told him I can walk to the place. He said, oh, well, since you can walk, I'm going to park in your garage so we can walk together.
Okay, that sounds okay. Come from the beginning. It sounds pretty cool, yeah. But I want to get to where's the meat of this happening. Let's keep going.
Anyway, Friday night came, and I had decided that it was no longer going to direct my date to take me to Forte. That was way too close, as he was waiting to hear from me where we were going to go. So instead, I decided that we were going to go to Fiola in South Miami, also very nice, but we were going to need to drive there. There would be no more mention of parking in my garage.
Wow. Parking in the garage. This is like, so I see this could be.
It's starting to sound like Seinfeld. It's starting to sound like a Seinfeld episode, isn't
Parking
it?
in the garage. I'm like, yeah. Okay. This is interesting.
Michael was running late from some gas leak catastrophe that happened at work and ended up not getting to Coral Gables for our date until 7:30 or 8 p.m. I had promised him we'd have fun and he wouldn't think about that anymore. And then he called me up from his car and said, here.
Okay, that's normal, I think.
I said, where are you? I'm standing up in my apartment. Where are you? He said, in your garage. Mm-hmm. I freaked out. Don't park in my garage. I sounded a little disgruntled at my reaction after driving, or no, he sounded disgruntled at my reaction after driving all that way to see me and said he would wait for me in the garage in his truck. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's in my garage now.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, what's going on here? This is exciting.
I turned and grabbed my things, ran down to the garage. He looked unhappy at my reaction, and after he'd just driven over an hour to see me, but brightened up by my cheery attitude, he said. And he liked my look, he said.
Cheery attitude. Interesting.
I was like trying to kill him with kindness, like kill him with cheerfulness. I told him quickly, we will be going to a very nice restaurant in South Miami that is very close to the place we can go after dinner and hear live music. I had come up with a great plan that he was very pleased with. Okay, so we went to dinner at Fiola.
What page is this, by the way?
It was only an 8-minute read, but you're kind of like interjecting, making it longer.
I think it's exciting.
I took some stuff out.
Okay, this is interesting. I never knew how women think about it. I've never written down anything from any of my dates.
That's what this is about. This is about.
I think it's fantastic.
Dating. Dating. How hard it is to find your soulmate. Anyway,
we'll talk after.
Well, it's not hard because the universe hears everything I say, and I'm manifesting right now that my soulmate is out there and looking for me, and he's in my life. And anyway, that's what I'm manifesting.
That's your spiritual moment.
I'm not watching any more meditations. I'm manifesting it. So
there you go.
Anyway, so I got to watch my words. But anyway, okay, so because dinners get quite expensive in Miami, I always would recommend that we share. You want to share something? And he was like, sure, we'll share it. So he chose this $62 huge ceviche tower, which he ate most of. And I chose this 5 ravioli dish, which was amazing. But I only ate half of it. He ate most of the tower.
How much was the ravioli?
But we were both happy.
The ravioli was what, 25, 30? What was it?
I don't know. I did not
remember the
document
62 tower. You just said 60.
I noticed the tower was $62
for the tower.
So I'm just saying, our bill was not cheap.
I'm just trying to get this.
It was not cheap. It was not cheap. But I was fulfilled, and so was he. So anyway,
great.
After that, I'm like, okay, and we had a great time. We shared a couple pecks on the lips and cheek. No big deal. We went to this place called Bougainvillea right down the road, which is one of my favorite haunts in Coral Gables. We scored a couple of bar stools after finagling with the staff on how it could be done, because traditionally on a weeknight, they remove the bar stools to make room for more people on the dance floor. Right. But I found out it really matters on who you know. So I always knew people over there that I could
profound.
Get
yes.
As a couple of bar stools. So anyway, then around 11 or 11:30, and that's where we actually shared the kisses on the cheek and the lips.
11:30,
just like right there.
11 going in for the close. I get it. Okay.
We decided it was time to end the night. Okay. So, however, Michael had reserved all of my weekends from then on out because he was so taken by me. He said that he didn't know why he chose that other girl the last time we went out, because he said, "Look at you, you're just stunning." Michael was making me feel
a smooth operator.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mike was making me feel pretty happy and special. I really felt I needed this, especially after the way that the ex in my building, which I started to call Flake in my blogs, that
No,
that,
who is
that
this?
I told about.
So it's
Well,
an ex?
you didn't watch my first episode.
Oh, I did
but
not.
that talked about the guy that I'd been seeing that actually found another shiny thing and dumped me after
Shiny
telling
object
me
syndrome, I
all
call
the
it.
same things that Michael was telling me.
Right.
So anyway, every girl wants to hear that she's special. Okay, Michael was really making me feel special.
I'm taking notes. Keep going.
Okay. So he
Special.
kept making the joke that he couldn't believe that I thought he was going to sleep in my garage. He said
Wait a-
maybe it wasn't a good idea for him to drive home, but that he was just going to drive us home to my garage, park in my garage, and then he was going to go stay at the Four Seasons. And then he said, "What do you think of that?" And I was just like, I don't know. All right, so like it was going to change my response about parking in my garage, but I just giggled and shrugged my shoulders. We then made it the 15 to 20 minute drive back to my building, and Michael started slowing down on the busy Douglas Road right next to my building. Usually a good place for people to drop me off is right past the building with a street that crosses Douglas. However, for one brief moment, I'm looking right there is my building, and we're driving past it. And then in the sudden moment, Michael asked the question, "Is that your building?" I responded, "Yep." I jumped up, opened the door, kissed him on the lips, and jumped out of the car and stood there and waved goodbye. You got to get the camera up. Wave goodbye.
Wow. This is like, it's starting to turn from a short novel into a freaking
Yeah.
fucking film now. This is crazy.
I mean, I was
Wow.
like, oh man, that wasn't a good thing to do. And as I'm jumping out of the car, I could hear him saying, "Are you kidding me?" And I just stood there waving.
Wow.
And so then, after realizing that this was not the first time that I'd done that, and each time it left me feeling a little bit empty, like
jumping
this
out of
is
the car.
not the way to end the night, but realizing I now hate goodbyes. And I actually told someone last night, what's that movie, The Runaway Bride? I'm like the runaway date. You know, like I'm like
Right.
not gonna do the good night thing. No kisses. We're not gonna. This is too much.
That's boring.
I'm out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm out.
Tracy, are you serious? This is,
That's
you're
exactly
the
what
runaway
happened.
date? Interesting.
What? I'm a runaway date.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've had women jump out the car or try to jump out the car, but you know I do. I pull over the side, let them up, my key, hit the gas. I had a girl call me, said, "Aren't you going to come back and get me?" I said, "Fuck no. You get out of the car. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
She did it to get attention and to cause a little stir, and I'll never forget this. I said, "I don't have time for drama. You jumped out of the car." Of course, I ended up going back to get her eventually after about an hour, making her wait for an hour. But
So
it's
it
like,
wasn't her home that she jumped out of the car.
no, it was we were at the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at the beach, and I was like, we were in an event at the beach, and she got a little upset about something personal in her life, and she said, "Just leave me here." I'm like, "No problem." Click. I mean, she called me back. Said, "Are you really leaving?" I said, "Fuck yeah, you got out and want me to leave. I don't have time for drama." So jumping out of the car is not a good way to end a date, Tracy.
Oh no, he wasn't happy.
What do you expect him to be
He
like?
wasn't
Ecstatic?
happy, and he really wasn't happy because he felt like the reason why I jumped out of the car is because I didn't want him to park in my garage, which he took very personally, and he was very angry about
Listen,
it.
I'm definitely going to write an episode on this, and this is great.
He didn't talk to me for a few
Don't
days.
park in my garage. I can see
He
it right
didn't
now.
talk to me for a few days, but then, as I said in the end of my blog, he started calling me back, and then started, talking to me more. And then we said we were going to go out another time, and he was in New York, I was in Panama, doing work in Panama. So then it just kind of went away. I think it went
Yes.
away because I moved to Boca. I think in the midst of this, after it was over, I went
Wow.
to Panama, came back.
Wow,
and ended up
wow,
moving to Boca.
wow. This
And then never
sounds...
talked to him. I haven't talked to him since.
Well, if you're watching out there, man, I'm taking notes from your moves. I like what you did, but the jump out of the car thing, I have to agree, that's a little bit out of character, don't you think?
Well, looking back on it, I mean, like, as I was thinking of it after I left and standing there waving at him, and he was so pissed looking at me outside the window, and I had a big smile on my face waving, but I realized maybe that wasn't the best move.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. This is me, because I'm dating, too. I'm single for all you out there want to know. And what was it that you were afraid of? That he was going to come back and try to sleep with you, get intimate with you? Because at the end of the day, we're adults. We're not
Yeah,
kids.
that's what I was afraid of.
You were afraid of the intimacy or just the sex part? Or him trying to have sex with you?
I was not ready. I was not ready. And like I hadn't seen him in 3 years. Like we went out 3 times 3 years ago, and then he actually I read my notes in my phone. I forgot this. He actually ghosted me. He actually ghosted me like 3 times.
Oh my gosh,
he didn't
ghosted
show
her.
up for our date. What is it called when they stand you up for your date? A stand up.
Yeah.
He stood.
Yeah, I call it. Yeah. He
What
stood
is it
her up for
called
a
again
date.
when they stand you up for a date?
Standing you up. Okay, so he stood you up for a date, left you hanging. You were at the dinner table
Like
waiting
3
for him.
times.
Did he cancel or not show up when you met him somewhere? That's a difference.
I would have to refer to my notes in my
Okay.
phone.
I mean, to me, it's like ghosting is say you're going to meet me at this restaurant here at 5 o'clock, and they don't show up. That's ghosting. If you don't go down there and he cancels, because I have a theory, you guys, and don't take notes on this. I believe that every person out there, I don't care if you're a woman or a guy, you always have a plan A, B, C, or D. And this is what happens. So if plan A, you can't get hooked up with them or a date, you go to plan B. Plan B, you go to plan C, and then D is the absolute one you really won't want a date, but you'll hang with them. But what happens if plan A, your plan D, and plan A calls you and say, hey, I can meet you? You're dumping plan D. This is like, and you guys get, I know this is fact. Not to say that I practice this at all, but I know it to be a fact. And I tell women every day, women at least have 5 people or more on their phone that are texting, how you doing, how was your day, how was work? Every woman, 10 to 15. Guys maybe have 4 or 5. You do the standard good morning, have a great day. Am I wrong about this, Tracy? Definitely not.
Well, I remember he told me that what had happened. It was that he had this toxic relationship going on. And then what I haven't told you yet is after he did finally start talking to me again, he said I still owed him a first kiss because he wasn't satisfied with the little kisses we had during the date. He never got a good kiss from me in South Beach when we were dating. So he still said I owed him a first kiss. So.
Wow. Man, this is dramatic, you guys. Tracy, I appreciate you sharing this. Listen, the guy's obviously that smooth. He needs to know how to go in for the kiss. If he doesn't know how to go in for the kiss, that's the telling of chemistry right out of the gates. If you can't get even a kiss on a date, I'm like, next, because it's not about you. Don't think about it's never you. It's always the other people. There has to be chemistry there. And if you're going for the kiss, you got to get the kiss. But if you say, I'm satisfied, for me, he's so petty. He said, I'm upset I never got a good first kiss. I'm like, on to the next one.
Yeah.
I put on a Jay-Z song, on to the next one, on to the next one.
Well, he might have been planning on a kiss if we'd have parked in the garage.
Oh, my God.
In his defense.
But you did some
But
before you
I
could
was
get
like, I'm out.
This is interesting.
This is not a
my
good enough date for me to go to the garage. I'm out. Like, he's like, is
garage.
that
Oh,
your
my
building?
gosh.
I'm like, hell yeah, it's my building. I'm
So
out.
what if it was raining outside? You don't want to
I'm
have
out.
you don't have cover? If it was raining, would you still done the same thing? Jumped out in the middle of the rain?
I probably would have. Because my building
So
was right there.
here's
I could
my
see
point.
It as we're driving
And
by.
ladies and men, listen to me out there. If you think the date's going to be going bad like that, I would never go out there because I know a lot of women out there get on these apps. They want to get a free dinner. I can get a free dinner. Oh, I can do this. And you guys know who you are out there. It's not about the dinner. I don't know about you, but I'm not a spring chick and I'm still young. But I'm not a teenager or a high school kid where I have to play games like, who's going to pay for dinner? Because I've done that before with women where they want to break out their credit card before I do. And I'm like thinking, whoa, I'm not going out with her again because she's trying to make a statement.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Is
100,
that right?
100%.
Oh, I like to hear that. I like to hear a man that stands up for himself.
They're trying to make a statement like, oh, wow, okay. Or even opening a door for them and they don't want you, oh, I got this. Don't open the door.
I love that.
To me, a lot of women out there, they're so independent that they want to just prove that they can do it on their own. And to me, I applaud that. But at the same time, if you're dating someone, and I still believe in traditional gender roles. Don't want to piss anybody off out there.
I do too, babe.
And to me,
do too. We're right
I
on the
just grew
same
up in a
page.
different time and a different place. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind going out with a friend and splitting dinner. But if someone's on a date, but I think it's just not a real date where you go the first time you meet them on Bumble or whatever, you go out and pay for a $200 dinner. That's not right at all. My brother told me when I got divorced, listen, start off with a cup of coffee, happy hour, something like that. See if there's chemistry. And then from there, if you want to go blow money on a date, do it. Because I was spending so much money on dates, $400 or $500 a week. And I'm thinking none of them got anywhere because a lot of these women were looking for a dinner. And to me, I can have dinner with anybody. But at the same time, there's expectation that there's going to be a date here. Why am I just going to do that? So what I do is let's meet for coffee. Or let's meet for happy hour.
I hate coffee dates.
See, my point is, why do you hate coffee dates? But if you're the real person, you have to understand, there's a process
I've
here.
never had a good coffee date.
I've had, that's why it's a coffee date.
I've
You want
never
to
had
find
an
out.
interesting coffee date
You wanna
where
fi-
I'm like, oh, I'm so attracted to this guy. way he's drinking that coffee.
No, way he slams down 10 drinks. Listen to me, there's logic behind this. If you're a serial dater and just want to go out and dates, just date. No expectation. But if you're looking for that person in your life you could potentially spend time with, spend some time with them. Get to know them. It's not
I
about
totally agree with
it's
you.
not about the dinner, you guys, because guess what? If you're vibing with someone, you could be sitting on the beach with a bottle of wine. You can grab a pizza somewhere and eat it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be about a nice, exclusive, expensive date. Because it's expensive, number one. Time is money, money isn't time, money's time. So you have to think about this, women and men, before you go out with someone. Do you really know what you want? And I think the problem is a lot of people don't know what they want. This way I get the runaway date theory because they don't really
Well, I know what
they
I want. I do know what I want, but because of the things I shared in my first episode, if you watched it,
go back and everyone.
A little bit.
Go watch the first episode of her show. Everyone, I'm telling you, she's brought up 3 times. There must be some serious content.
There's some
in there.
stuff in there that happened to me that now I'm a very, what is it called? Not suspicious, but not conservative, but
Suspect.
I'm
That could be you.
suspect. I'm just like, yeah, like let's just wait and see, because I found when you get to know people really well, sometimes you don't want to be that close to them.
Hey, listen, I was married for years, and you still get to know. One thing about a person in marriage, you learn more and more as the years go on. So you're never going to fully know someone. But if you see the red flags, men, I saw red flags, and I keep going because I'm thinking, this girl is hot. And she's really hot. The sex is good and everything. You just go for it. Because men, we're very simple. People understand. Men are very basic.
Well,
like that.
sometimes it's like that, but then I've also found I've been in relationships where when I get to know someone better, they get more handsome, they get more charming, they get more attractive. So that's kind of the wavelength I'm on right now. Like I'm not looking for just this sexual chemistry right away, although that's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking for my last love. My last
love. That sounds so terminal. My last love. I don't know if I like the way that sounds.
Well, maybe I should say it.
How about my greatest love?
My greatest.
I mean, because why does it have to be? Yeah, think about my last love. I mean, how does that sound to you, man? Last love sounds like
this is gonna be it.
I'd be afraid if you tell me you're my last love. I'm going to be absolutely terrified of it. You got to look at these things.
Yeah. Okay.
How
So
about
we're
your
gonna
greatest
say
love?
my greatest love.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm looking for.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah.
Phrase a little bit
Is
better.
that what you're looking for as well?
I am looking for a super spiritual, supernatural woman that can be symbiotic when we vibe on the same level. I'm not looking for perfection. No one's perfect. We all have our drama and issues, but just someone who we can really spend time and enjoy life together.
Yeah. Have fun.
Have fun. Not just fun, but listen, it's going to be good times and bad times. But my point is, I would like to just have someone who accepts me just as I am right here, right now. I accept them for who they are right now. I have kids. They may have kids. I don't know, but there's always attachments.
Right.
But that really has dealt with their stuff. Because what I find out there, if I can speak on this, there are a lot of women out there who haven't dealt with their shit. They have not. There are a lot of women out there who are broken, who are victims, and who are lost. And I'm saying, I always say there are men out there like that too, but I'm not into men, so I can tell you my perspective. So, and if a woman is really working on personal development, becoming the best version of herself possible, that's what I want. Now, they have to be good looking too. It has to be some kind of physical.
Well, they have to look like they care for themselves. I've taken it down to this. They have to look like they care for themselves.
Yes.
And are we looking for what we are? I would say so.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I would say so, yes. But it's like, what I found out there, if I can speak on this briefly, is that our society has changed a lot. A lot of women out there, they're not really looking for love. You know what they're looking for?
No, someone to take care of them.
100%. And this word that I've learned 2 years called hypergamy. And I looked it up in a dictionary. You can Google it. Hypergamy means looking for someone who can elevate your lifestyle and wherever you're at. So you have all these women out there, they're putting money above love, money and things, which those things are going to turn to rust. But what's left after that? Is there real love there? No. It's something, and I've seen women who date money after money after money, and some of the guys are all the same because one person told me the guy told her, you're getting old. And I can go out and get a 20-year-old. I mean, you have to think about people who are narcissistic out there, who are accepting that, they don't give a rip.
Right.
But if you're looking for that, you're going to find the same trail, and you wonder why. Why does this always happen to me? I dated a very rich guy, and this happened. I dated a guy who had money, and this happened. Maybe the personality doesn't match, but my point is, I believe if you get with the right person who you already connected with, then you can build something together rather than just having this one-way street. Because, listen, when men find themselves writing a check for everything, I have a couple friends who do that right now.
Right.
It's empty.
Right.
She calls when she needs to pay a bill or get a
Right.
credit card or something like that, and
Yeah.
it's like, it's empty. And some people, some men do this because they don't want to be alone. They'd rather be on a date. They have money. It's
Well,
not
look,
the big
women
issue.
do it too. Women, I know women that are desperate at my age. They're desperate. They
Okay.
want to find somebody so badly. They're trying so hard to make this person or that person become what they are, will be satisfied
I guess
with.
I'm going to update the age of my dating profile. Thanks for sharing
And
that
I
tip.
think, I think it's important for women and men to have confidence in yourself
Yes.
and know that you are enough.
You're worthy. You are worthy. Absolutely.
You are enough for anybody out there. You
Right.
are enough for what you want, what you desire. Desires you. So hey, I just think that that's what it's.
But that's what you said. I got to go back to something. So for me, I'm very big in the personal development space. So I've had a meditation or I've had a seminar or something, not just these real estate networking events, but at some events where people are really working themselves. That's where I want to meet someone. I want to meet someone because, listen, we are all going through difficulties.
Don't downgrade real estate networking events.
No, I'm just saying I don't want to. Listen, I go to some of these events down here. Real estate aren't looking to sell real estate. They're looking for a man. I'm just telling you from a guy's perspective. They are
I
looking
believe
for a man.
any networking event is good. Anytime people are networking and mingling and meeting, and I think the dating apps are actually good. There are love stories from the dating apps because people meet their true love on a dating app. You know, who's to say
That's a
any
commercial I
one
saw
of
for
them is
eHarmony
bad?
20 years ago, but how many people you actually know?
I mean, actually, I've met a few. And then someone actually almost had me
Actually,
talk
my
to-
brother met his wife on the dating app, and they've been together
My
4 years now.
daughter met her husband, her fiance, on a dating
Yeah.
app.
But I believe introductions are good to get introduced to someone because they know their character, or meeting them at a different type of event, or or meeting them at a church or something like that. That could work too. But you can meet anybody anywhere. So are you ready to receive that person in your life?
Right, exactly.
Are you still dealing with the past trauma, your past relationships, or your divorces, or your children, or money?
I think that's why it's so important to work on you. You have to
I
work
agree.
on the inside. And that's what manifesting is all about. You've got to make the inside match what you want on the outside.
Well, what I say is that not the inside, it's your energy and vibration.
Yes.
It's
exactly.
energy is outside of you, by the way.
Exactly.
You have to make the energy and vibration align to that which you want. Now, manifestation, I teach on this, quantum physics, quantum mechanics. That's
Oh,
another
I wish
discussion.
we'd have talked about that. We're gonna have to have you back to talk about
I'll
that.
be
now.
back to talk about that, or maybe
Yes,
I'll start
for sure.
maybe I'll start my own podcast on that topic in here. You never know,
For sure.
because it's something that I realize. Once you get out of your way and you get rid of that victim mentality, we've all been hurt by someone, right?
I agree.
We could all remember every single time we're hurt, but that does not define who you are.
Exactly.
And I believe it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first, because I have a strong principle. I believe you cannot give what you do not have. If you don't love yourself,
Exactly.
how can you properly
So
love
true.
someone else?
So true. So true. Well, anyway.
Anyway.
So I like to, after my blog, say a lesson that I learned from each one of these dates that I went on. And the lesson that I decided I should have learned from this date was to make it very clear from the start, when my date is traveling a distance to see me, that he is on his own after the date. Now, do you think that's what I should have learned? What do you think I should have learned?
I think you learned a bigger lesson than that one to learn. It's okay to park in my garage. People are adults here.
I don't know
Every
about
man who
that.
parks in the
I still
garage is
don't
not
like
looking to
that
get laid.
idea. I still don't
It's
like
a
that
public
idea.
garage. It's one thing to park in your house garage, but in a building. I lived in the building in downtown Fort Lauderdale. That's the only place they could park was in the garage. So what am I going to tell them? Oh, park along the street.
We were supposed to meet at a restaurant. He could. I wanted him to meet me at the restaurant. I was going to walk to the restaurant by
Listen,
myself.
I say the lesson is, it's okay to park in my garage, because right away your association with parking in the garage means he's trying to get some.
And I think he was.
Well,
think he was after hearing that
how many
story?
guys out there show a hand are looking to get some? Let's be honest here. Every man out there is looking to get some. Okay, whether you do it or not is okay. But if you don't know, automatically every guy's looking to get some. There's a problem there. What is he?
You know what? I guess I just didn't want to give him some.
Well, that's it then. You didn't have to.
I didn't want to give him
Let
some,
him park
so
in the
I didn't.
let him park in the garage, and when he's time to leave, good kiss on the cheek, kiss, make out, whatever, and adios amigo. We'll see you next time. You know, but my point is that if you I say don't park in the. It's okay to park in my garage. That's a limiting belief you need to overcome because think about this. Parking in a garage. I live in Fort Lauderdale for years, and it's like there's nowhere to park.
I was thinking the same thing the other day when a man wanted to come over to my pool. Can't come to my pool.
Oh, listen,
Not ready for that
if you're
yet.
out there and you're a baby
Not
and to come
ready
by
for
my
that
pool,
yet.
you're welcome to come by my pool. Okay, you may not get in my condo, but you're welcome to come by the pool. There's plenty of people out there.
I'll meet you at the pool.
Especially when you live in a nice building, people always want to come to the pool.
Oh, I have a nice pool in my building, but
Don't come to my pool. Don't come to my parking lot. The don'ts here, which I consider to be blocks.
You're absolutely right.
Those are blocks.
You're absolutely right.
A lot of blocks there, Trey.
You're absolutely right.
I just called you Trey. I mean Tracy.
That's okay. In the blog that I did with the crazy rich neighbors, they called me. What was it, Ben? With the gray story.
Oh, 50 Shades of Trey.
50 Shades of Trey.
Oh.
That was what I brought to the table. 50 Shades of Trey
honestly,
Crazy Rich Neighbors.
If anybody can crack the seal, I'm sure you're a great, fantastic woman. I mean, you look amazing. You got good energy, but those walls are just blocking you with parking garages and pools and things like that and jumping out of cars. I want you to think about that. I want you to really internalize it and ask yourself this question because you answered it. Why don't I want someone to park in my parking lot? I believe your subconscious mind has the answer already. We have all the answers within us. Why don't I want someone to come by my pool? There's an insecurity or something there about you. It has nothing to do with the other person.
Well, before we get too psychological on this.
We're not getting psychological. I didn't use that word. It's not. I don't believe in psychology.
We're going to do the real estate minute.
Okay, so we're going to save that for off-the-record conversation, Tracy.
Yes.
But I appreciate you having me on the show. Let's hear your real estate moment.
Okay, so on the list of the most popular cities for net newcomers, that means the number of people looking to come minus the number of people looking to leave, Las Vegas and Phoenix have the top 2 spots. All top 10 cities are in places with warm climate, and Florida is a top contender. Florida's population boom in recent years has made it the fastest growing state for the first time since 1957.
Wow.
According to U.S. Census. On Redfin's list, Orlando was ranked number 4 after Tampa, North Port Sarasota, Cape Coral, and Miami also made the top 10. Cost seems to be the biggest motivator for those looking to relocate. 9 of the 10 cities have lower median sales prices than the buyer's most common origin location, okay? And so the top states that people are moving to right now, Florida's number 1. Texas follows. Then 3rd is Arizona. 4th is South Carolina. 5th is North Carolina. And the top 5 states that people are moving from, everybody wants to get out. First choice is California. One of my daughters lives there. Right. She loves it. Second choice is New York. My sister lives there, loves it. Third choice is Illinois. 4th choice is Massachusetts, where my ex-husband's from. And 5th choice is to leave is District of Columbia. So anyway.
Wow.
There you go. There's your real estate minute. And for all help with your real estate needs, be sure to contact me, Tracy Busch Pate, at Keller Williams Worldwide. My office here in Boca is 561-245-4000. Please call and give a call and let me know how I can help you reach your real estate needs or your friend. I love referrals, and I've got a global team that can help you no matter where you are. We are out to help you find the best location for you or to sell a business you might have in a great location. So anyway, please subscribe and like my podcast. It's on Spotify now, YouTube, Apple, and all over the place where you
That's amazing. Congratulations.
All over your podcast places. So go to your favorite podcast place. If you don't see it there, let me know. Anyway, but looking forward to you subscribing to this channel and liking it.
Okay, and if I can give my only gratuitous plug, if you want to find me, hopefully you can post my QR code in the end, because I'd like to talk about
Of course, we want people to know where they can reach you and get help from you.
Yes, you can reach me. You can reach me on Facebook, which is Wally Waiters. Or I'd like to post, if you could put my QR code on this at the end, that'd be great. Can you do that?
Can we do that?
I can put your handles and stuff like that.
Okay, perfect.
I can do that.
That's great. This has been an absolute pleasure. I had more fun than I thought I would, actually.
Ah, more fun than you thought you would. What
Of course I did.
What do you think?
And also can't complain about the view in the studio. It's very nice.
Nice. Yeah, good. I'm honored. Thank you. It means a lot. Your recommendation means a lot.
Absolutely.
So anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for joining in with us. We had a great visit with you today, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great rest of your week.
Peace.